Red October has come and gone, but with Team Toyota's home field advantage, you'll score even more savings this offseason. Choose from our winning lineup of new Toyotas, like Corollas, Camrys, RAV4s, and Highlanders, all in stock for immediate delivery. Or ship over 200 certified used Toyotas with MVP pricing to deliver quality and value. And when it comes to service and collision repair, our team gets you back in the game fast. So visit us in Langhorne, Princeton, or Glen Mills, or take a swing online at teamtoyota.net. How's it going? You're listening or watching the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. That is Sean Kane. This is Spencer McKercher, co-host of the podcast, digital video producer. That is the producer of Phillies pre- and post-game live.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Kaner, how we doing, buddy?
We're good, man. Getting ready for Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Baseball off-season news starting to heat up a little bit. A couple dominoes falling around the league, which we're going to get to. But everything's good, man. Everything's good. Enjoying the baseball off-season, ready for the holidays. How about yourself?
Yeah, man. Ready to go.
Good.
Ready to go. Looking forward to a fun little holiday season. Kicked off with, we debated on the last podcast, which we'll get to at the end here today. But it's got to be top two for me. Thanksgiving and the holiday. We'll finish the whole rankings at the end. But hey, whether you're driving home or driving somewhere to see family, taking a walk after eating some turkey, whatever you're doing, thanks for listening. So we got some Phillies news and some baseball news around the country as we sit down here on November 25th, 2 days before Thanksgiving. And you mentioned it, dude. The stove is getting a little hot. But before we get to that, you know, we like to kind of start off a little goofy. Mm-hmm. I have shin splints.
Oh, man.
Have you ever had them?
When high school basketball, I kind of dealt with them a little bit. That's a long time ago. Knock on wood, I've kind of left those in the rear view. That they're not fun. That's painful, man.
I don't understand how or where they came from.
Yeah.
It was a busy weekend. Sophia's 30th birthday. That's everything
exciting.
That under the sun. A lot of walking. We were up in New York City for a little bit.
Yeah.
But Sunday woke up, couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And now here we are as we sit down on Tuesday, and I'm struggling, man.
You're still
it
dealing
hurts.
with it.
Got to get the frozen peas on them.
Right.
You know?
Oh, man.
It's brutal. I haven't, like you said, high school basketball was the last time I've had.
Yeah, I can remember back then. I'll tell you, shin splints are no way to beat Jason Avant in a 40-yard dash.
So true.
Or Mark Jackson 101, because really, you're really hanging your hat on like you're the young guy.
Yeah.
Like these guys are old, they're retired. You know, I can take these guys in various athletic endeavors, but you might be getting old, man. You got a big birthday coming around the corner in a few months, right?
The big 3-0 is coming, man.
Yeah.
And talking about that, I still feel confident in the Jason Avant and the Mark Jackson.
Jason was in here yesterday. I was working with Jason on Bird's Huddle. He's still in pretty good shape, man.
I gave him a little fist bump. Said, how you doing?
You didn't tell him that you're going to challenge him one day to a 40-yard dash.
I kind of winked at him. I don't know if he knew what I was winking at him about.
Right.
However, Scotty Hartnell now knows about it.
Oh, it'll make its way to Jason at some point.
And he is not on our side.
No.
So.
And Mark Jackson knows that you think you can take him one-on-one basketball, former NBA.
Coach Lynham knows.
Temple, Coach Lynham. Everybody knows. So push is going to come to shove at some point.
Exactly.
And hopefully your shins are feeling a little better.
We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
We're going to make it happen. Speaking of that real quick, too, so our Dynasty Fantasy group chat, they're having a big turkey bowl. Okay. And on Saturday after Thanksgiving, shout out to the guys, Jim, Steve, Chad, Liam, all those guys. And we're already talking about wearing the knee braces, wearing the ankle braces. Yep. We're all 30 now.
Be careful, man.
That's a terrible thought.
Be careful. No, it is. I think about it all the time. Anytime I play basketball, I'm coaching both my son's teams, and we're practicing and need an extra guy to jump in. You know, it's one thing to roll your ankle, but you don't want the Achilles. You don't want a serious knee issue.
That's right.
It's I got a football game tomorrow with my son and all his buddies. They do a little annual pre-Thanksgiving, and the dads get involved. And let's just say I'll be
get the knee braces too.
Right. I'll be just kind of floating around the secondary, not really going to be pressing any man coverage, probably playing a little quarterback. But you got to be careful as you get older, man. Those injuries, they can really derail you for quite some time.
They can. They can. So hopefully all is well after this weekend. But we'll
check back in.
Exactly. Yeah, if I walk back in on crutches, we'll put the Mark and Jason stuff on hold. But to news, Phillies news. Phillies news across really the country here. And we're going to start real quick before we get into some breaking news that broke this morning, Tuesday. But real quick, yesterday on Monday, reportedly, our good buddy, Bamboo Brad Miller, is hanging the cleats up.
Yep.
Brad Miller retiring after an illustrious career, especially here in Philadelphia. What's your favorite Brad Miller moment? I mean, it's kind of obvious, but
yeah, I mean, obviously the bamboo plant that he got going there. I also think a lot about him and the sombrero, the home run sombrero. That was kind of his era.
He hit 3, right?
3 at Wrigley.
Yep.
So he was rocking that hat quite a bit that night. But everybody kind of did it, and that was, I believe, the 21 season. And I'll always remember the hat, the sombrero, and the Phillies got beat like 11 or 12-1, and somebody hit a home run. It might have been Harper himself hit a home run.
It was Bryce.
And they did it. Like, hey, it's what we do. After a home run, we put it on. And then back in those days, the media availabilities after the game were still on Zoom because it was pretty close to COVID. And Jim Salisbury, who we all know and love, got on, and they asked a few questions to Bryce, who was addressing the media via Zoom, and Jim, he wants to get the answers, and he asked Bryce, "Hey, Bryce, when you guys are getting beat like that, do you think it's a good look to put the sombrero on?" And Bryce kind of took a breath and was like, "Yeah, I think, it's what we do after home runs. We do it. We've been doing it all year, so don't stop now." And Jim had to follow up, "Even when you're getting blown out?" And Harp took another second. "Yes, Jim." And then we moved on to whatever else was asked. But I'll always remember that. And Brad Miller makes me think of that hat, and that hat makes me think of Jim Salisbury and Bryce Harper's exchange over Zoom, which I think was just classic Jim.
We're on the same exact
And
page.
Bryce, like another writer, Bryce would have probably, but Bryce has respect for Jim, as everybody does. So that's just Jim being Jim, and we all kind of moved on that I know of. I don't think Bryce harbored any ill will, but very funny. It was a good moment.
So good. Yeah. It was so good.
But Brad Miller played a valuable role for the Phils once upon a time.
That he did. He had that walk-off. Was it a slam in the Powder Blues in like a rainy day? I believe it was a walk-off grand slam.
He had some big hits.
Yeah, he did. That was a fun year.
Yeah,
that was a fun year.
Yep.
Phillies couldn't really do anything with it, but it was a fun time.
Yep.
In the last few years as a Phillies fan, but
yes, indeed.
So congratulations to Brad Miller on a pretty good season, pretty good career.
Yep.
As a baseball player. So now to the news that came out today. If you missed it, Todd Zolecki put out an article today on MLB.com and basically outlining, hey, the Mets, which we're going to get to, are making moves. The Braves are making moves. They signed Mauricio Dubon. They re-signed Raciel Iglesias. And, of course, the Mets made the trade for Marcus Semien, which we will dive into right after this. But later in the article, it says that obviously the Phillies have prioritized re-signing Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto, but according to sources currently, the club and Schwarber are not close to a deal.
Yeah.
Is that surprising? Todd does go on and say, obviously, his agents want to capitalize on a monstrous 2025 season, finish second in MVP voting, and you and I both alluded to this over the last few podcasts of, if you're the Phillies, you can't wait too long, but you're also going to give Kyle Schwarber an opportunity to go talk to some of these other teams and get the most amount of money that you deserve. But are you surprised by this report?
Yeah, obviously Todd is plugged in. He's been covering the team for a long time, and he's got sources on both sides, I'm sure. So there's definitely some validity to it. And not surprised because it is still early in the offseason, and we all know how the baseball offseason, drags on. But I don't know, like, a little percentage of me, maybe a little alarmed that they're not even close. Because you think the Phillies now, they've been saying it for months, we're going to do it. We want to keep, he's our priority. We want to keep Kyle Schwarber. We love Kyle Schwarber. So they kind of have an idea of what he's worth and what they're going to have to give him to keep him, unless his agents are asking for $200 million.
Right.
I think the Phillies, I think we've been speculating quite a bit. I'm of the mind that he's probably going to make close to $150 million if they give him 5 years. Maybe if they can give him 4 years, it's more closer to 120. But I think he's getting like $30 million a year, and there's going to be other suitors. So, like, I think the Phillies know pretty much what they're going to have to pay him to keep him. So we'll see. But it's tricky. Like you mentioned, like he's going to be like the first domino you would think of the Phillies offseason, first big domino where like if he's priority number one, we got to re-sign him. And now, okay, he's back. Now what we're going to do in the outfield? What are we going to do? We're going to make a trade. We're going to look for a new third baseman. But the longer this drags on, then all of a sudden these other things start happening around the league and the Phillies might have their hands tied a little bit. God forbid Schwarber signs somewhere else and it's like, oh boy, what's our plan B?
Right.
And Pete Alonso's already signed somewhere and Alex Bregman's already signed somewhere, and then it's like, oh, we just lost Kyle Schwarber and we didn't replace him with a impact bat. That would be a bad look.
Disastrous.
So, interesting, I thought, that they're not close. Still a lot of time in the offseason. Of course, Schwarber wants to capitalize on his career year. Of course, the Phillies aren't going to bid against themselves this early in the process. But interesting to see how it all plays out because, it's still early, but spring training starts kind of coming around the corner in the new year, and the Phillies got to make some moves and reshape their roster because they need to shake up that lineup a little bit. So it'll be kind of a delicate balance for them.
It is, and I'm sure Dave Dombrowski, John Middleton, Preston Mattingly, the entire Phillies brass, they have their backup plan in case they have probably a backup plan. But it is kind of the first domino that will be willing to fall, and then you kind of go from there. And I don't think you can wait until Christmas time to re-sign Kyle Schwarber. I think it's got to be real soon. I think things are going to heat up. The winter meeting's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We've alluded to it multiple times. Can't wait to get to that. But we've seen some trades and stuff kind of already pick up a little bit. Not really on the free agent market too much, but the trades are picking up.
Yeah.
Things are going to happen quick. But if you're the Phillies, you can't sit back on your heels too much, especially for Kyle Schwarber. It is interesting, though, because I think regardless, it sounds like execs around the league are focused and kind of saying that they expect Kyle Schwarber to sign a deal around 4 years and around $30 million per year.
So 4 for 120.
So anywhere between, 4. I know, like I saw one recently that was 4 for 128. That gets the job done if you're the Phillies, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think that's a win for the Phillies. I thought they might have to go 5 years. We'll see.
Sure, and that we mentioned in the last podcast the Pirates and the Reds, whatever. If and Todd Zielecki alluded to that. He said surprising/stunning.
Yeah.
It would be stunning,
right?
If the Pirates can offer one, Kyle Schwarber more money, and two, kind of persuade Kyle Schwarber to leave Philadelphia for the Pittsburgh Pirates,
right?
The Cincinnati Reds,
sure. Yeah.
A little easier to persuade,
right?
But they're still not. They made the playoffs. Yeah, they're a wild card team, but it's still not the Phillies.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
I guess where do you think that's going to finish up? Do you think like Kyle, because I know we were kind of joking about it for even during the season, if the Phillies offer him kind of less money, do you think Kyle would take a deal for less money to return to the Phillies, or do you think he's kind of going to try to maximize the amount that he deserves after a 2025 season like that?
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to try to maximize to an extent. Now, if it's close and maybe he's more comfortable with the Phillies, he knows how the Phillies operate, maybe they can get him for relatively the same. I don't think he's going to take $30 million or less to go to the Phillies. But if it's close, maybe the Phillies can have that edge over just the familiarity. But no, you're right. Like the Reds, I think maybe there's an outside chance. The hometown stuff, maybe. But yeah, the Pirates, like Schwarber winning wherever he goes, that really be put to the test if he goes to the Pirates. If he goes to the Pirates and they go to the playoffs, then it's like, wow, this guy is unbelievable. What a winner, what a leader. But no, I think like the Cubs, I think the Red Sox, I think those are teams he's obviously familiar with, he's played for, that have a winning history, that have some money to spend. So I think those teams are in the mix, or could be in the mix, depending on what else they have planned for the offseason. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes longer past Christmas. I hope not. I hope you're right. Hopefully the winter meetings, things pick up and it's settled by Christmas. But like, to me, I wouldn't be shocked if like Schwarber's letting these teams put their offers out and we're into January and he's still kind of debating it. So we'll see. I mean, a lot of guys have done that recently, and sometimes it works for them, sometimes it doesn't. But Christmas would be great. I think Christmas, you get it wrapped up by Christmas, and then you have a month and a half, 2 months before spring training to kind of do some other stuff you want to do.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, the main priority for the Phillies this offseason, and it is on Dave Dombrowski's big board and his whiteboard in his office, is re-signing Kyle Schwarber.
That's what they've said all along. He's our priority. So they're far apart right now. We'll see if they can get a little closer in the next few weeks.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And to transition real quick, the second priority of this Phillies offseason is to bring back JT Realmuto.
Yep.
And there was a report that came out in The Athletic, I believe, this weekend that the Red Sox are showing interest in JT Realmuto. In the article, it basically outlines that they're also looking for a right-handed bat. They could tandem him with Carlos Narvaez, who's been their catcher. What are your thoughts on JT? Because really, in the last few podcasts and even the reports that we've seen, it's like, okay, it's the Phillies, and that's pretty much it. And JT Realmuto, and a reunion is going to pretty much happen with JT Realmuto and the Phillies. But the fact that now there's some noise out there with the Red Sox possibly being interested in JT Realmuto, does that worry you at all?
I wouldn't say worry. I figured there'd be some interest, but like, to what extent are they interested? Are they interested in giving JT a 3-year deal for $45 million or $50 million? Then it's like, wow, that's serious interest, and that's a big commitment, and then that's maybe something the Phillies have to contend with. I'm sure the Red Sox would love to add him to their catching mix, and you mentioned Narvaez and kind of use the both of them, but maybe that's not really appealing to JT. Maybe he's still, while realizing he's getting older and maybe he shouldn't catch 130 games, I'm sure he's not going to be willing to be part of like a 50-50 split.
Right,
yeah, I think he still thinks of himself as one of the better catchers in baseball, certainly one of the best defensive catchers in baseball, and he still, has his moments where he can really get hot at the plate and contribute offensively. And now over the course of a long season, his numbers aren't what they used to be, but yeah, no, I mean the Red Sox I think would be appealing to JT. Obviously, a team that's committed to winning, some pretty good some players to play with in that lineup on the pitching staff to work with. So interesting. There probably is going to be some interest in JT, but again, I got to think the Phillies are at the top of that list because just they don't really have any other options, and they know what JT's all about. They're familiar with JT. Again, I expect him to resign here, but I'm sure there's some reports, and I'm sure JT's agents don't mind getting those reports out there that, hey, the Red Sox are interested, Philly, so you're going to think you're going to lowball us with an offer. Well, Boston's in the mix. So that's all the part of the dance, Spence, as you know. There's a lot going on, a lot of speculation going on. Posturing is probably the best word for it. We'll see. I expect JT to be back behind the plate for the Phillies. I would love it for B to 2 years, but it might have to be 3 to make it happen.
Yeah, I could see, especially if some of these teams, and in the article it mentions the Giants, it mentions the Rangers, and then it also mentions the Pirates and the Reds as well. But
yeah,
I don't see JT Realmuto, who has made the playoffs the last 4 seasons, has been the staple of this Phillies defense.
Yeah,
I don't see him going to a less competitive team like the Reds and the Pirates.
Yeah,
no offense to them.
Yep,
but I think if teams start to heat up and people start testing the waters with JT, yeah, I think 3 years, $45 million could do it. Matt Gelb mentioned in his article previously that Yadier Molina, in his age 35 to 37, signed a 3-year, $60 million contract.
Ooh. Okay.
I don't know if JT Realmuto is going to get $60 million.
No, I wouldn't.
$20 million a year.
That'd be high. Off the top of my head, that'd be pretty high. But.
Yeah, and coming off a 5-year, $150 million contract that he signed in 2020 and into the 2021 season.
Right.
I think 3 years, $45 million gets it done for him to return to the Phillies.
That 5-year deal, I think the annual average value is right around 23, 21. You just said what it is, and which I know at the time was a record for a catcher.
It was.
Which I don't know. I don't know how you don't lower that somewhat significantly after how he's kind of tailed off a little bit, offensively at least. So I'd be surprised if he gets $20 million a year, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Can you imagine at age 35?
Yeah.
That'd be wild, but good for JT. And he does deserve it. He's not the BCIB anymore.
No.
We can, I think, all agree on that. Yeah. But he's still one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball.
No doubt.
At age 35.
Yeah. And it's not like he's some liability offensively. Like you have him hitting 7th or 8th in your lineup all of a sudden. It's like, wow, you probably don't hit him 4th or 5th anymore, but yeah, no, he can still run. Like he's still a really good athlete. He's not like he's some complete liability offensively, but I just don't think you can expect him not to decline at this point being a catcher.
Exactly, which then opens up a whole other door of the backup catcher situation if you're the Phillies.
Yeah.
You got to look into that. You have Garrett Stubbs, you obviously have Rafael Marchand, but I don't know if that can suffice for the next 2 or 3 years, even if you bring back JT Realmuto.
Yeah.
All right, coming up on the other side, we're going to hit a quick ad break here, but coming up on the other side, we're going to recap 2 trades that have happened in this past 48 hours.
Yep.
Also look at a potential trade the Phillies might be interested in with the team that beat them in the 2023 NLCS. So coming up on the other side, but a quick ad break from Temple Health and Philly Sports Trips. Sean Kane, the holidays are right around the corner. Do you need some holiday gift inspiration?
Who doesn't? Absolutely.
Well, escape the cold and catch the Phillies in Clearwater with NBC Sports Philadelphia and Philly Sports Trips. We're teaming up to bring fans the most unforgettable Philly spring training experience yet. This trip includes Phillies game tickets, beachfront accommodations, round-trip travel, all-inclusive tailgates, and much more. Plus, appearances from Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, and NBC Sports Philadelphia's own Ben Davis.
Wow.
Can you imagine Benny down there with the fellas?
That's a party. Charlie, Larry, and Ben down there. I mean, sign me up. It looks like an awesome trip.
You and I will be down there. Book your trip today at phillysportstrips.com.
Hey, T-Mac, another great day. Best fans, the best city. How lucky are we?
It doesn't get much better than this. But I got to tell you, our guy missed a lot of the game last night. I think he missed almost a full inning going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, he said he kept feeling like he had to go, and then nothing would come out.
I think he went back 3 times before the 7th inning. Now, that's more than just having too many beer baths.
Nope, it sounds like BPH. It's more common than you think.
Well, it's time to stop holding it about prostate health. Good thing we've got our friends at Temple Health who are way smarter about these things than we are. Let's let the doc explain. So, Doc, what's going on with our guy?
Sounds to me like he's got this problem called BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. It really means that guys just have trouble peeing.
But there's a solution to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. At Temple Health, there are doctors that really specialize in BPH. Aquablation is one of those things that we offer that many people don't, and other things like prostate enucleation as well. Both of them are minimally invasive that really help guys.
And for most patients, they come out of it feeling fine.
Yeah, I think most patients have a really simple recovery that's straightforward.
Well, that's a big win, because it's better than going to the bathroom a dozen times during a ball game.
Oh, absolutely. These results for guys are long-lasting. Let's face it, prostate health shouldn't be keeping guys out of the game.
Hey, I ran into our guy again. No more back from sprints. He's back in the game.
He told me it was like the most relief he's had in years, in more ways than one. I mean, he even stayed for extra innings.
Aquablation therapy at Temple Health. Get back in the game. Visit templehealth.org.
Welcome back. This is Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota. That is Sean Kane. I'm Spencer McKercher. Thank you for listening. If you're on the walk, hopefully the walk's going well. Belly's starting to feel a little better. If you're on the drive to family and friends, hope you're enjoying it. Stay safe, everybody. We were just talking about, during the ad break, talking about Feast Week, college basketball.
Yes.
It's always a good time.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a fun time of year here. So it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and we got multiple college basketball games on, and we got a MAC football game coming up here in 2.5 hours. Can't wait.
Yeah, Maui. I mean, just over the years, all these great tournaments. Maui, Battle for Atlantis. I'm a big Battle for Atlantis guy. The Great Alaskan Shootout was like back in my childhood. Probably a little before your time, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. Yeah.
But just good stuff. Games late at night, Thanksgiving week, college hoops. Loved it, man. Good memories.
It is the best.
Yeah.
It is the best. And I know it also is the best as the MLB offseason. We're going to get into 2 quick trades that happened over the last 48 hours. We're going to start with the division rival with the Philadelphia Phillies, and that is the New York Mets. Kind of making a surprising trade, sending Brandon Nimmo to the Texas Rangers for second baseman Marcus Semien. And it was funny, I was getting some drinks with some friends on Sunday after the marathon, and I was with a Mets fan, and it was just like, well, that's old guy for old guy.
Yeah.
And kind of mixing it up a little bit. But 1-for-1, in my opinion, was crazy.
Yeah.
And Brandon Nimmo waived his no-trade clause. He had a big no-trade clause. He signed that massive contract a few years ago, 8-year deal, and now going to the Rangers. And afterwards, yesterday he did like his little press conference over Zoom with the Rangers, and he said in reality he didn't want to waive that no-trade clause with the Mets, but hearing how bad the Texas Rangers wanted Brandon Nimmo, kind of made him say, okay, fine, maybe a fresh start. The Mets wanted a fresh start. He wants a fresh start. But I will say it's going to be nice not seeing him sprint to first base after a walk after all these years.
Yeah, he was a pain to deal with, man. And I thought he was one of those guys where, like, I don't want to call him an all-time Mets great, but I thought he was going to be like a Met for life.
Sure.
Like he was a guy that came up with them, that really embodied, their franchise for this last, 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
We laugh about him sprinting to first base, but he played hard. Like he played hard. He had a knack for big hits. I thought he played a pretty good outfield, whether they had him in center or left or wherever. So surprising. Like that's the type of move that those moves pop up every offseason that nobody kind of predicts or expects. And it's like, wow, they traded Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien, who apparently, like you said, like Nimmo needed a little bit of convincing because I'm sure he envisioned playing the rest of his career at the Mets. But I saw somewhere he had a conversation with Jacob deGrom, his former teammate with the Mets, who's now with the Rangers, and I'm sure that conversation kind of pushed Nimmo to agree to it and hear about the good things going on in Texas, so he hopes, and waive his no trade clause. Interesting from the Phillies' perspective, not dealing with Nimmo as much anymore, but then here comes Semien, who had a down year last year. You called him an old guy at 35, which I guess that is kind of old in baseball life. But I mean, he's a couple years away from being a driving force behind those Rangers winning a World Series, and they gave him a lot of money. Obviously, he's been a part of some winning teams, Toronto and Texas. And a pretty dynamic middle infielder. So we'll see what he has left. We'll see if last year was a down year or the beginning of a decline. But all of a sudden, if they re-sign Alonso, you got Alonso at first, you got Semien at second, you got Lindor at short. I mean, that's not a bad-looking core to your infield, much like the Phillies kind of have. But yeah, I mean, Semien Lindor is a pretty good middle infield, and the Mets obviously have some more work to do at other pieces. Obviously, we know about some of the guys they have in the outfield. But interesting trade, and if they can get somewhat close to vintage Marcus Semien, it's going to be a pretty dangerous lineup.
It will be, and interesting is a great word. It was shocking. You get the Jeff Passan notification. We're sitting at a bar having a few beers, and it was like, wait, what? Yeah. Marcus Semien, who, in his prime with the Blue Jays, even with the Rangers, winning a World Series with the Rangers in 2023, was a great, multiple Gold Glove winner.
Oh, yeah.
always came through in big moments.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, though, he only batted .230 last season in 127 games, and he still has, I believe, 3 years and $72 million left in that contract.
Yeah, it's a
Nimmo
lot.
has 5 years, $101 million left in his contract. So it's not really like a salary dump for either team, but it just made the trade that much more interesting. The fact that there's two guys with two big contracts that are kind of maybe getting fresh starts. So it is crazy. I didn't think that we would ever see Brandon Nimmo not in a Mets uniform.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm mad about it.
No, I mean,
but like you did mention, heck, if Marcus Semien all of a sudden turns into Marcus Semien of years ago, that Mets lineup, like you said, you bring back Pete Alonso, that Mets lineup is just as dangerous as it was without Brandon Nimmo now, adding Marcus Semien.
And Nimmo was like hitting cleanup for them for middle of that order this past season. So he was kind of like a big part of what they were doing. Interesting. And I think it's the type of deal that like the Mets, that just shook up their core. Like that's what people want the Phillies to do. Hey, we got to shake it up, shake up this core. This core can't get over the hump. Well, that's the type of move that like comes from a source you don't expect. Are the Phillies poised to do something similar? We all wouldn't be shocked if Alec Boehm is traded, but could they move somebody else? Could another part of the core be on the move? Now, obviously, a lot of those core guys that aren't JT and Kyle who are free agents, but you think Trey, you think Bryce, those guys are long-term contracts, so who knows who they can move or what they can do, but it's a way to shake it up, and obviously you get a pretty nice return on Marcus Semien if he has a little bit of gas left in the tank. So it was you use the word shocking. It was pretty shocking.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, I don't know if this becomes like like Dave Dombrowski's sitting back on his heels, it's like, oh wow, that guy was a Met for life.
Yeah,
it's time to shake things up a little bit. And it was also funny, we were kind of joking though, it was in the middle of the Eagles game, not really a great 4:30 slate on Sunday afternoon,
right? And
all of a sudden, do you think like Cohen was like, hey, you bored?
Yeah,
you just want to, let's just do this, one for one, why not?
Yeah.
For two guys with combined like 66 WAR, I mean, it was a shocking trade, and one that you don't really see in baseball too often. So maybe that could lead to some interesting moves this offseason, including or especially for the Phillies.
Right.
The other trade that happened, we'll just touch on it real quick, happened on Tuesday morning. Sonny Gray traded to the Red Sox for our guy Richard Fitz and another minor league pitcher who I just completely lost his name.
Yeah, pretty highly, Clark, I think, pretty highly rated prospect. I mean, Sonny Gray, decent season last year. I think he hangs his hat on the durability, and obviously the Red Sox are looking to kind of add to their staff. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good addition. Sonny Gray's a guy that's been around, pitched a lot, pitched for different teams, and pitched pretty well generally. So interesting deal for the Sox, and one that seemingly should pay some dividends for him. Yeah,
you put somebody to kind of piggyback off of Garrett Crochet, who came off an unbelievable Cy Young worthy season for the Red Sox in 2025. I mean, Sonny Gray, he's one of those guys that he's been around for so long, and I believe he pitched against the Phils this season, and it was just like, oh man, Sonny still has it.
Yeah.
It is funny coming from watching him with the A's when he was a real young kid and kind of evolving prospect, and now being traded to the Red Sox here before the 2026 season is interesting, but it shows that maybe, he was one of those names out there that could have been on the market. So maybe some of these other names like Sandy Alcantara, these random names that you could see kind of get moved this offseason. I think we're in for kind of a crazy one. And with these two trades, I've been indication, it should be fun. Now to transition to our last topic. So John Morosi came out on a podcast and said that the Phillies checked in with the Diamondbacks, and he did mention the Blue Jays as well, but he checked in with the Diamondbacks for Ketel Marte. What an interesting conversation that could be. Right. Obviously, we know what Ketel Marte could do. He's hurt the Phillies many times that he's not hurt the Phillies. Morosi said that it's a 50-50 chance that he does get traded, but would that interest you if the Phillies could maybe make some sort of trade for Ketel Marte?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yes, you would obviously love to add Ketel Marte to your lineup. And, second base, we love Bryson Stott, I think Bryson Stott's a guy that, like, if you, just for argument's sake, you pull off the Marte deal, and here he comes, and you give up a ton of great prospects and probably a major league ready guy too. But then, all right, well, if Alec Boehm goes in that deal, I would be cool putting Stott at third. Like, I think Stott can play third base until I know your guy Ian Miller's in the wings, but like, I think Stott's a guy that can move around. He came up as a third baseman. Remember him and Bohm were like battling out in spring training a few years back?
Yeah.
His rookie year, which would have been 22 because he was a rookie when they went to the World Series, Stott. And he came up as a third baseman, and then he eventually moved to shortstop and played shortstop all through that postseason. But to me, Stott's a guy that can play short, second, or third. Obviously, it's been a while since he played third, but anyhow, I don't think if you trade for Marte, assuming Stott isn't part of the deal, which maybe he would be, I have no problem moving him around because I do think he's such a great defensive player. But yes, back to Marte. Of course, but I do think that has to include Miller, that has to include Painter, that has to include name whoever else that the Diamondbacks want. I mean, Ketel Marte's still a guy at the top of his game. One thing I don't know off the top of my head without looking it up here, which you probably have access to, Marte's contract.
It's interesting. So he signed through the 2030 season.
2030, okay.
$105 million deal. However, it jumps from $19 million a year to $22 million a year after the 2028 season, I believe.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Then he has a player option in 2031. So even if he declines that option, though, he'd be around for the next 5 seasons.
Right. All right. Okay. I love it. Everybody's checking in.
Just
Red Sox are checking in on JT.
Just testing the waters.
It's a check-in season.
It is check-in season.
Yeah, what do you do? You just kind of call up Ketel. Hey, check in. You doing all right, Ketel? Just checking in.
Scoping out. So Morosi said that the Diamondbacks are actively listening to offers among the teams that have checked into the Phillies and Blue Jays. Those teams are not on Marte's no-trade clause list.
Interesting. Okay.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. 126 games last season, 136 hits, 28 doubles, 87 runs scored, 28 bombs, 72 RBIs.
Yeah.
Only 83 strikeouts, and he hit 283 with an 893 OPS.
I mean, that's those numbers for a second baseman. I mean, that's top notch.
Unbelievable.
I mean, for a position like second base, you typically don't see a lot of offensive production, but he's been doing it for a while now, and those numbers last year are excellent. So
now, defensively, though, I think it's a downgrade to Bryson Stott.
Yeah.
But adding another right-handed bat in the lineup like that.
Yeah, in the middle of your order.
At 32 years old.
No doubt. Yeah, 32. That's not old. That's, fits right in with the general age of this core.
Now, what about Alec Bohm, Justin Crawford, maybe Dante Nori, and Gage Wood? Is that too much?
No. I don't know if that gets it done.
And would Stott be in there instead of Bohm?
Bohm, Nori, Crawford, and Gage Wood. I think they're going to want Miller or Painter. I mean, it's Ketel Marte.
That's true.
I don't know. That would the deal you just laid out. Where do I?
Are you in? Are you in?
Yeah. No, who knows? Gage Wood, you don't know, but you have to.
Even for Justin Crawford. But then that opens up a whole can of worms for the outfield because we're kind of banking on Justin Crawford being starting either left fielder or right fielder in 2026.
Yeah. No, I would do it. I think Ketel Marte is that valuable. I would give up those 4 guys. Yeah.
What a fun debate because I don't know, man.
Yeah.
If you give up Crawford, I mean, again, I think that just opens up a bigger hole than it is right now.
Yeah. Well,
because all of a sudden you're kind of banking on Justin Crawford. Yeah, you have Bryson Stott.
Right. But then it
is Ketel Marte at 32 years old.
Maybe he's a guy that pushes you over the top. Maybe he's this generation's Pete Rose. You bring in Ketel. He gets this core that's gotten close like the Phillies were in the late 70s. Here comes Ketel. Ketel is good in the postseason too, man.
He is, and it just isn't. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
that's similar to Stephen Kwan. It's similar to Stephen Kwan, man.
I think if you can get Ketel Marte without giving up Miller or Painter,
it's a win. Yeah, it's a win. But if Justin Crawford's in there, man, what do you do in the outfield?
You hold on to Marshy, maybe try to bring back Bader. You bring the band back. Other than Nick, I think Nick's gone regardless. But
does that Casty come back?
You can let Nick go, but you try to make a run at Bader. You get Marsh, and then you go out and sign this year's Max Kepler to a 1-year deal somewhere.
Taylor Ward, maybe. I don't know.
Taylor Ward already got traded.
Oh, not Taylor Ward. Joe Adell.
Joe Adell. I'm big on Joe Adell.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still outfield solutions. And honestly, the Crawford thing's fascinating because you read, depending on what you read, do the Phillies value him more than other teams? I feel like there's a lot of angst over the fact that he hits too many ground balls. But what do you say what you want? The guy hit 3, whatever he hit last year in AAA. He plays a great outfield, so he's going to get his chance in the big leagues, whether it's the Phillies or somebody else. Probably with the Phillies. As fun as this is a debate, I don't see the Phillies trading for Ketel Marte. But you never know.
Hey, we're checking in, though.
We're checking in.
Just checking in.
All you can do is check
season.
in. Yeah.
Oh man, and then Gage Wood, that's my guy, dude. I need him starting games next season. Not gonna happen.
No,
jokes aside, but I don't know. It's fun. I don't know. There could be a blockbuster on the horizon.
There might be.
Would be insane. I don't know if that, but if it's for Ketel Marte, but the Phillies are going to be interested.
Yeah.
We're checking in.
Yeah.
Just checking
in. But no, it's going to start picking up.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. And they got to do something, man. I think something big could be in the offing. We'll see, of course, waiting on Kyle and JT. But other than that, you get...
And Bomer.
Yeah, I think some more shuffling needs to be done.
Yeah. Nick Castellanos going to end up on the Royals. Who knows? All right. Speaking of checking in, we're going to check out here. But before we do, Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
Sean Kane, give me some things that you're thankful for.
Oh, man. Thankful,
here we go.
Of course, for you, Spence, in this podcast.
The first one?
Well, wow. I should probably... friends and family. Let's go family first.
Sean would be fired up about that.
Yes, yeah. My wife and kids, of course. But being here and being part of our group here in all seriousness is something to be thankful for. Especially during Phillies season. We were just kind of laughing at some old Phillies clips today. Because now we're going on 2 months since the Phillies lost to the Dodgers in the NLDS. So I just golfed with Rick this past weekend. But you don't see Rick around the office in the wintertime.
It's true.
You certainly don't see Ruben and Ben. You're certainly in touch with those guys. Michael B's here still, of course. But I'm thankful for that whole group to be a part of the team. And opening day will be here soon. But yeah, thankful for a lot of things in all seriousness. And a great holiday. My favorite holiday. Important to remember in addition to watching football and hanging out and eating. But what you're thankful for, what you're blessed with. And we both, I think, have quite a bit to be thankful for.
100%. You said it, man. Shout out to friends and family, my parents, my brother, my sister, Sophia, obviously, and friends like John, Timmy, and all those guys, man. And then obviously everyone here at NBC Sports Philadelphia. Said it many times, but honored and lucky and still blessed to be part of this small family that has now become my family in reality. It's been great. So, shout out to everybody. Everyone have a great Thanksgiving. Real quick though, too, before we do get going, we're talking about missing Ricky and all those guys. It is weird here without them.
Yeah.
You were lucky enough to golf with him, but
sure. Lucky's one word for it.
Lucky is some sort of word for it.
Yeah.
But however, in Phillies world, what are you thankful for?
Ooh, thankful for John Middleton.
Wow.
That the ownership generally in my lifetime, I think David Montgomery was a great man who obviously wanted to win. But John Middleton has taken it to another level of being obsessed with winning a World Series. And I think for us as a business, for the fans to have ownership, because, there have been times when the Phillies ownership and certainly other teams in this area ownership, you kind of question is winning the most important thing? Or are they just in this to make money? But John Middleton wants to put a competitive product on the field. He's shuffling, he's signing guys, which makes for great content for us every offseason. But the fact that they're in the mix for the last half decade basically of winning 90 to 95 games, being in that World Series contender. So it's fun for us because certainly I have been there where you're playing out the string of a season, you're finishing fourth in the division, you're winning 68, 70 games, and there's just no hope for October. And that's tough to cover a baseball team like that. So for what we do, certainly thankful for John Middleton, putting the right baseball people in place, Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson, but just wants to win, wants to put a competitive product on the field, and makes our life easier covering a team that's in it to win it with championship hopes every year.
It really is, man. It makes it so much more fun, so much easier to do the job, and even just more enjoyable in general.
Yep.
I do miss the Gabe Kapler years, to tell you that, but
yes.
No, you're exactly right, though.
Yeah.
This team is built to win, and it's been a fun ride the last few years, and we have more years to go. I know this window has slowly been closing, but there is still years where this window is open. Mm-hmm. And the way that John Middleton wants his bleeping trophy back, he's going to do whatever it takes. Him and Dave Dombrowski are going to do whatever it takes to continue to put a winning team out in that field.
Yeah.
Until that doesn't happen, I'm definitely thankful for John Middleton as well. Mine, though, real quick, I'm just going to say thankful for Christopher Sanchez. That guy, man. I love that guy so much.
Yes.
What he did this season, I've said it multiple times before, and really the entire starting rotation, Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo, even Aaron Nola, Taijuan Walker, we'll throw all those guys in there. And hopefully that'll be an addition to Andrew Painter as well. But thankful for those guys as well for, in reality, keeping this team alive. When the bats went cold, that starting rotation stepped up every single time. And we can't speak enough great things about that rotation, and including Christopher Sanchez, which one day will win a Cy Young. So,
agreed.
On that note.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thankful for you, brother. I appreciate you.
Likewise.
Friendship over the last 8 years have evolved to being on the pod together. And
Golden Rams got to look out for each other.
Always, baby. Always Rams up.
Yes.
Miss Westchester. We were just talking about that. 30th birthday. Might just go there.
Go to Jake's.
Yeah.
I'll venture back to Chase.
Yeah,
I think I
you
remember
gotta
where it
come.
is.
Yeah. Been there a few times.
All right.
You've been mistaken as my father, but that's a different story for later.
That's a whole other podcast. Unbelievable. Not a good note to end on.
Not a good note. Thankful for that, though. Thankful for that.
Good laughs.
And your friends, and good laughs always. So thanks for listening to the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. We are landing the plane. Everyone have a great and safe Thanksgiving. When we talk next, it will be December, Sean Kane, and we'll be a week away from the winter meetings where I'm sure things will heat up. However, if news does happen over Thanksgiving, we'll have the latest covered for you, ready to go. So until December, everyone have a great and safe Thanksgiving. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys then.